What's going on, guys? Chunky back here on my channel. I am here today for a review of X-Men Dark Phoenix. Now, if you didn't know already, Dark Phoenix is the last film in the 19-year franchise that has been the X-Men franchise. This film revolves around Jean Grey, or Phoenix, as you may have known her in the past, as she basically comes across a newfound set of powers and enhanced abilities through a cosmic storm. She then becomes confused, learning how to use those powers, keep those powers under control, and therefore questions her allegiance and where she belongs in the X-Men. Now that's the brief plot. Now let me say, first off, that this film is shit. This film is shit. This film is probably the worst film in the X-Men franchise, and it's probably worse than X-Men 3 Last Stand. Now, the first problem with Dark Phoenix is that it's incredibly disjointed. They go to space to rescue these astronauts, Jean gets caught in a cosmic storm, she gets a bunch of powers. Cool, that's a story there. If you really fleshed out the characters' emotions, I'd be somewhat okay. It'd actually be more of a focused film. But then you introduce the Abia, an alien race that wishes to come to Earth, use Jean's powers to basically get rid of all human life and restart their own culture and their species on Earth. I mean, it's a cool story, and admittedly, while I don't know too much about the comics, I know that these guys are a huge part of the Dark Phoenix storyline. So whether you want to respect Dark Phoenix for actually including them, I say no, they weren't used enough, they weren't important, and they weren't actually doing anything until the very end, when it was almost too late. These characters weren't fleshed out. Instead of doing one job properly, you're doing two half-assed jobs that don't amount to much. Jean Grey, once she's got her powers, goes to see Magneto. Now, to put it simply, Magneto is living a peaceful life after the events of Apocalypse. He's left to go on an offshore island, which is surrounded by mutants. They're just living their own life. They've started their own community, and everyone just wants to live in peace and be left alone. So Jean goes asking for help. And as Magneto explains that what she's doing might be dangerous and that he doesn't want to live a life that's consumed by revenge, she doesn't need to do all this stuff and be involved. She just needs to chill the fuck out. Then something happens that makes her angry, and then she decides to fly away because she can do it herself. But while she decided that, Magneto actually agreed to help her. Then later on in the film, when they reconnect, she's angry at him because he didn't help her and cast her away. But if you had have seen the film half an hour earlier, you would have known that's not the case, and that's not what he said to her. It feels rushed. It feels like it was put together too quickly. It feels like Fox just gave up and said, no, we fucking lost anyway. Just get this shit out so we can end this freaking franchise. And to reiterate on what I was saying at the start of this review in regards to X-Men The Last Stand, that film gave us a similar Dark Phoenix story, but it was trying. It had a connected plot that was actually backed up by interesting characters that had been previously worked on and established. I know the supporting cast in this film had other roles and moments in other films, but then with the Abia and the alien race, you didn't introduce them properly, and no one knows who they are if you don't have any previous reference. You just have to understand they're the bad guys that want to kill all humans so that Jean's got to decide where she lies. It's fucking rubbish. It's just, it's really hard to explain exactly why this film is, or why this film is as bad as it is, apart from the plot being disjointed, because the plot is honestly what allows the film to just continuously fall apart. That's all it is. I mean, I'm getting frustrated by talking about it, just trying to come up with things in my brain, but there's just a certain quality that this film lacks. And I know that there exist fun popcorn flicks, but you know what is a fun popcorn flick? Marvel's Avengers. That film doesn't really talk about anything serious, but it actually takes itself seriously. If you could still take yourself seriously as a film and have well-written jokes. The Hangover is a comedy which still takes itself seriously. That's why it comes off as well-made. That's still a popcorn flick. You know? I just don't... I can't make excuses of this film. This film is a don't watch. Don't watch this film, because I'm just going to keep going in circles and confuse myself in the process. So, thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, leave a like down below. If you don't, that's cool. If you want to comment on the X-Men franchise or Dark Phoenix, I don't know why you would, but leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you anyway. And as always, guys, please subscribe and hit that bell button down below if you want to stay updated with all my future content. This has been Chunky. Thanks for stopping by my world, and I'll see you soon. Why the fuck was Dark Phoenix even a thing?